Imagine lifting a spoon to your mouth while a king watches from behind you. The room is silent. The candles barely move. Every noble at the table pretends not to stare at you. But they are all waiting for the same thing. Will you swallow or will you die first? Because in this palace, your job is simple. Eat before the king does. And if the food is poisoned, your body becomes the warning. You are not a knight. You are not a lord. You are not important enough to be remembered. You are a royal taster. And tonight, one bite could kill you. You wake before sunrise. Not because you are disciplined. Because fear does not let you sleep anymore. Your stomach already hurts. Not from hunger, from dread. Outside your tiny chamber, servants are already moving through the cold stone halls. Fires crackle in distant kitchens, pots clang. Footsteps echo through the palace like drums before battle. You sit quietly for a moment, listening, breathing, wondering if today is the day your luck finally ends. Because royal tasters rarely die peacefully. Some collapse instantly. Others survive long enough to scream. And the worst part is this. If you survive today, you must do it again tomorrow. The kitchen is already alive when you arrive. Hot pot coming through. Smoke fills the air. Sweat drips from exhausted cooks carrying heavy trays of meat and bread. Huge pots boil over open flames. Servants rush everywhere trying not to anger the head chef. Nobody speaks to you for long. Some avoid looking at you entirely. Others stare with pity because everyone in this room knows something you try not to think about. If someone wants the king dead, you will taste it first. You pass rows of roasted birds, steaming soups, fresh fruit, wine goblets, and thick brown sauces whose ingredients you stopped asking about years ago. Everything smells rich. But for you, food stopped feeling comforting a long time ago. Now every meal smells dangerous. A cook suddenly grabs your arm. Try this. He pushes a silver spoon toward your hand. You hesitate. The room notices. Simmer for a while. Even the kitchen noise seems quieter for a second. You slowly taste the sauce. Salt, butter, herbs. No burning tongue, no bitterness, no instant pain. You swallow, and everybody exhales. This happens dozens of times every day. Tiny moments where death might already be sliding down your throat. Sometimes poison works quickly. Arsenic could destroy the stomach. Mercury poisons slowly. Certain plants cause hallucinations, seizures, or paralysis. And some poisons were almost impossible to detect before it was too late, which meant royal tasters often lived in constant suspicion. Every sip, every crumb, every bite could become their last. By midday, the palace transforms. The king's banquet begins. Candles glow against gold plates and jeweled cups. Music drifts through the hall. Nobles laugh loudly around tables overflowing with food most peasants would never see in their entire lives. But you barely notice any of it. Because your eyes stay fixed on the king. Kings live surrounded by enemies. Jealous brothers, greedy nobles, foreign spies, ambitious generals. Even trusted advisors sometimes betrayed them. And throughout history, poison became one of the easiest ways to remove a ruler quietly. No battlefield, no rebellion, no public execution, just dinner. Which is why people like you existed. Human shields disguised as servants. The king finally raises his hand.
These feasts
the room
are
falls
always
silent
so
instantly.
lavish.
A servant places the first plate before
is
him,
palpable tonight.
but he does not touch
We
it.
must be
Not
cautious.
yet. Instead, everyone looks at you. Your legs feel weak as you approach the table. The smell of roasted meat rises into your face. You notice grapes, bread, wine, a dark sauce dripping from the edge of the plate. And suddenly your imagination begins torturing you again. What if the wine is poison? What if the meat was injected? What if the cup itself carries poison on the rim? You grip the spoon tighter. Your hands tremble. The king watches you carefully. Not because he cares about you, because he cares about surviving. You take the first bite. The hall stays silent. You chew slowly. Every second stretches forever. Your heartbeat pounds in your ears.
A toast
you swallow.
to the king.
Then you wait. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20. The
Another
nobles
round
pretend to
for
continue
everyone.
talking,
To the king
but their
and the
eyes
harvest.
keep drifting towards
May our
you.
fortunes
You
continue
remain
to smile
standing,
upon us.
alive.
Here.
Only then does the
Another
king
cup
finally
of wine
begin
for
eating.
everyone.
And just like that, your suffering becomes invisible again. The banquet continues, music returns, wine pours, laughter fills the hall. But you remain close to the throne the entire night. because you must keep tasting everything. Every new plate, every drink refill, every dessert. Again and again and again. Hours pass. The air grows hotter. Candles melt lower. The king drinks heavily now. His guests become louder and cooler. One noble jokes about how useful royal tasters
is
are.
Not the air.
Another laughs. That dead tasters are easier to replace than
I
dead
saw the
kings.
letter myself.
The table erupts with laughter. You force a smile. But inside, you realize something terrifying? To them, you are not fully human. You are protection, a tool, a living test. And deep down, you know the truth. If poison ever reaches your plate, nobody at this table will mourn you for long. But the fear does not end after dinner. That is the cruelest part of this life. You begin distrusting everything: food, cooks, servants, even friends. Because royal courts were filled with secrets. People whispered constantly. Plots formed quietly behind curtains and locked doors. And sometimes royal tasters themselves became targets. A dead taster could mean someone wanted to remove the king's protection completely. So even outside the dining hall, you never feel safe. You sleep lightly. You inspect cups before drinking. You notice strange smells others ignore. You stop trusting kindness. Fear becomes part of your body. One winter evening, something changes. The king receives guests from another kingdom. The feast is larger than usual. More guards stand near the walls. More servants move nervously between tables. Even the cooks seem tense. You notice one unfamiliar man near the wine barrels. He avoids eye contact, keeps touching his sleeves, keeps glancing toward the throne. Your stomach tightens. You have learned to trust fear. A servant pours dark wine into a golden cup, then places it before you. The king waits. The room waits. You stare at the liquid. It looks normal. It smells normal. But something feels wrong. Still, you lift the cup because refusing is not an option.
They're everywhere.
Not for someone like you. The wine tastes bitter.
Run!
Very bitter. Your body reacts
Protect
instantly.
the king.
Your throat tightens. Your stomach twists violently. The cup slips from your hand and crashes across the stone floor.
What are you
Suddenly,
doing?
the hall
Stop this
erupts into
madness!
chaos. Guards draw swords. Nobles
Move
scream.
in. Take
The
him
king
down.
leaps backward from the table. And you collapse. Your vision blurs. Pain spreads through your chest like fire.
Get
People
down on
shout
the ground
above,
now.
but their voices sound
Intruders,
far away
they're
now.
attacking.
The torches smear into glowing streaks.
Help me!
Someone grabs
Move
your
it, scum.
shoulders.
You are coming
Someone
with
else
us.
searches
Help.
the room
No,
for
please,
the
let go.
poisoner.
Stop this
But none of
madness.
that matters
What is the
anymore.
meaning of this?
Because
Run,
for the
get out of
first
here.
time, your greatest fear has finally
Hurry to the
arrived.
doors.
You wake up hours later, barely alive. A physician sits beside your bed. The poison was weak enough to survive. This time, the king rewarded you publicly the next morning. Gold, praise, a better room. The court applauded your loyalty. But deep down, you understand something horrifying. You were rewarded for almost dying. And tomorrow, they will ask you to do it again. History remembers kings. It remembers crowns, battles, victories, and palaces. But it rarely remembers the trembling hands that lifted the spoon first. The servants who swallowed fear before every meal. The people whose survival mattered only because someone more powerful needed protection. Royal tasters live close to luxury, but even closer to death. And in the end, that may have been the cruelest part of all. To sit beside greatness every night, while knowing your life was always worth less than the next bite.